other stuff happening, so. A couple really good questions today, though. How's everyone holding up? Deborah's killing it. I don't know.
Well, I freaked out for one day and then recovered. That was last week. And I deleted the stock app off my phone, which really helped.
I'm sure it did.
I tried to just focus on what I can control, which is my massive action work habit. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah. Good. I am glad to hear it. Well, let's start with wins, and then we will get into our question queue today. So who has something they would like to share?
I gotta win.
Yeah, Deborah, let's hear it.
So in my effort to continually try to turn all the lemons into lemonade, so last week was my last trip probably for a while, and ahead of the event, I reached out to someone that I was hoping to connect with at an executive roundtable, and she got back to me and said, oh, it turns out I'm not going to be able to attend because we are under travel ban as a public company and I can't go to the event. So I said, well, let's connect anyway. And we originally set it up as a coffee, but now where I am, coffee shops are starting to close and not have seating and stuff. So we turned it to a virtual coffee this morning, and that turned into a really huge opportunity to engage with a software company. So that was a win. And the big learning from that is right now you can reach out to anybody because we all have this incredible shared experience that we're all trying to get through. And so the more I find, the more I'm reaching out, the more I'm seeing silver linings all over the place. And that was one of them. I wasn't expecting that type of an opportunity. So, yeah.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. That's inspiring. I would imagine. Raise your hand if that's not helpful to hear. That's awesome. Or raise your if that's helpful to hear.
Okay.
That was a weird question, Michael.
Bad question. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah.
We knew what you meant.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Who else has something they'd like to share? Patricia, yes. And then Rachel, and then Sandy.
Well, first of all, I want to share today's my last day, and I've gotten a lot of awesome stuff out of the program. My website should be up by the end of next week, completely with everything done, including what I'm working on with Sarah. I'm using this time to develop blogs and whatnot to start a podcast rather than just using it as downtime. And I am now finally doing MMAs because I feel confident doing it.
Yes. Oh, good job. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Patricia. Amazing. Thank you.
Today's one-on-one call, I said, Patricia, anything else you need from me? She's like, nope, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm doing it. I'm like, hello. Doesn't get much.
Bam. Amazing. Rachel, what would you like to share?
Just piggybacking off of what Deborah was talking about, I know we're in a unique position as far as our primary business as a gym, and we made the decision to shut down about 24 hours before it became a mandate. And we are really looking at a crossroads depending on how long all of this lasts for, what we're going to be able to do. But because of the work that's already been done, there's no panic. My husband's phrase last night was, babe, you've got an ace up your sleeve and you're just getting started building it, and we're going to do what we have to do. So I know for me, the timing of all of this has been impeccable on when I chose to make the leap and make the jump. We had no idea that our safety net might not be so safe in the coming weeks. So I'm coming at this meeting today just with the spirit of gratitude. Conversations that are coming up with the businesses in need. Mindset, setting systems, and taking action is my wheelhouse. and the how can we serve for that avenue right now has massively opened up. So silver lining. Deborah, I love that you use that phrase because it's coming out of my mouth like crazy. And I do feel like we all have an opportunity here on looking for the silver lining and continuing to figure out how to serve and provide value, because every one of you has massive value that you're bringing to the table. So I just wanted to rally behind Deborah's ball she got rolling, because I'm seeing the same thing. So I'm grateful to be here and for all the work you guys have put in, because your value is trickling into our ability to create value. So thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Rachel. Sandy, what would you like to share?
Just that I got my 1 sheet and 7 reasons materials to Morgan this morning. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what she does with it. And I came up with an active 20 list a couple days ago and was kind of confused about how to reach out to them right now. But I had a good call with Sarah today, and she gave me some good direction. And so I'm feeling better, because I actually had a moment where I thought I should switch lanes and go back to filmmaking.
No.
It only lasted a few minutes, and Sarah helped me get over that.
Oh, good.
But I'm back on track, and I have a whole long list of things to work on this week. So that's my share.
Oh, good. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad it was only a few minutes, and I'm glad you were in a safe place when it happened. Oh, too funny. Valerie, what would you like to share?
There, I'm unmuted. I went to a networking event last week before things started shutting down, which was really good because I met a lot of great people. I went into the city of Chicago, and I think somebody here is in Chicago in the group. If so, I'd like to touch base with you. So I met a lot of people, and a couple of them were speakers. So I think that's going to be a good synergy there. And the women that I connected to were fabulous, which is one of my targets. And one of them said, "Oh, I need your card because I need to contact you." And, so we're going to get together. So that I haven't gone out to a networking group for like 5 years. So that was really positive. I'm working on my list of 20. And I'm going to start doing some webinar tips on communication skills while people are at home. And, just saying, while you're at home, let's start getting your skills upgraded. And I also reached out to some people to get some testimonials on LinkedIn. So I feel like I'm
Fantastic.
in a good start.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear you're still moving along, taking action.
Still alive, right?
Anyone else have something they want to share?
Oh, wow. Lots of shares today. Ari and then Carla.
All right. So, I'm back. It's been
Welcome
2 weeks.
back.
Thank you so much. It was great. My son got married. We were like the last wedding that took place that actually we were able to have a decent size wedding. After hours, it was like everything shut down. So we were very happy about that. We went through the week and everything was wonderful. And now we are back in the saddle. Some of the things that I was working on, I actually made contact with a speakers bureau on the West Coast who was very interested in my story, etc. She already started to talk to her clients. And I know we've all got the situation with 2020. Obviously, there's a problem. So what I started to do is book 2021 because people don't know what's happening in 2020. Yes, events are canceling, etc. and so forth. But you know what? We know it's not going to last, for a year. Well, we hope anyway. But so I'm figuring, 2021, this is a good time to start setting that up, for the next year. So those are the things that I'm working on right now. I did get back my 1 sheet. I have some comments, etc. I have to get that back to Morgan. and, you know, with some of the ideas that I've got. And, you know, it's just, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep pushing. That's all it is. I mean, there's nothing else. You know, you can't, this is just, it's an obstacle in the road. And always remember, every obstacle in the road is an opportunity. All right. And that's the way you got to look at it. So, you know, I think I got 2 more weeks in the program and I'm excited about it and it's going to be great.
Nice. Way to go. Ari, I just, among, you gave us several good messages there, and I just wanted to highlight that's unique and clever and interesting to already be reaching out to people for 2021. I really like that. And that can be just enough to be a little attention getter, and very good. That's something that I had not thought of, and I think it's a great idea. And just real quick, I just thought of it. Just by posing that, you never know what sooner, right? Like we're talking to them about 2021, and they say, "Hey, can you do a virtual presentation for us this year?" So I think it's a great idea for booking and a door opener for things that come even earlier. Very, very clever. I think Carla was next.
All right, Carla. Mm-hmm.
You're on mute, Carla. And we can tell you're saying something good. So
yeah, so today is my last day. Sorry that I'm leaving, but I've gotten a lot out of it. I finally settled on strategic planning as the focus for the niche, which is kind of coming back full circle. But what I'm understanding is that people are in crisis mode, so they're going to have to figure out what's their strategy in this time. So I think it'll be a good opportunity to start promoting that. So I've still got to get the one sheet and all that together, but this program has really done what I needed it to do, which was get me focused on what's my niche, because I think from there, everything else will start to flow.
Agreed 1,000%.
Yeah, awesome to hear that, Carla. I thought there was one other. Did someone else have their hand up?
Oh,
Something
Melissa.
they wanted to share? Ah, Melissa. Okay. You want to share a win, Melissa?
Yeah, just I want to thank both our coaches, first of all, for helping me last week when I was feeling pretty not good, I guess. And also, I've been very distracted. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But I did start listening again to the modules, and that's really helping me focus. And I just want to say, like, I have multiple streams going on, so it's helping me not just with my speaking, but also helping me with my other business. So, so thank you.
That's a good reminder too, Melissa, for those folks that have coaching, consulting, similar businesses, even you know, network marketing, or just there, you can really take what David teaches and apply it to so many different areas. So that's a good reminder, Melissa, to obviously we're focused on building a speaking business, but we also know many of us have products and services in addition to that. And David talks about that. So to be able to go through the modules with that lens is a great idea. Thanks, Melissa, for that validation. Steph, do you want to just announce about why you're off camera?
Oh, yeah, no, I put it in the chat. But
Oh,
just
you did?
'cause,
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
because everyone's working from home in my neighborhood and my internet's already so slow. So I am still here. But you can start on the question queue, Michael.
Yeah, the chat is so productive. I lost the first question. I think.
It was Deborah, would love tips on re-engaging customers.
Oh,
customer
yeah.
engagement campaigns.
Yeah, thank you. So Deborah would love tips on re-engaging customers, customer re-engagement campaigns. So Deborah, why don't you just get us kicked off? What has you thinking about this, and just get us going to give more depth to the.
So as I was going through the training videos, I just remembered that was one of the suggestions for finding prospects, and like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. oh, how do I do that? What do I say? You know,
So,
especially if it's a customer that you haven't worked with for a while, you got them to the point B that they were looking for and you're done. So then what?
good. Okay. So I know I'm going to start from a place that that's different than your question, but we'll get to your question in a moment. But I think Deborah's question is a great reminder to all of us, myself included, to have keep in touch systems with all your past clients. So you don't get to the point where you're wondering, oh, what should I do? I haven't reached out to people in a long time. Does everybody get that? Maybe, you know, and it could literally be just as simple as, you know, you make note in your calendar system or your CRM that once every 3 months, you reach out to each past customer personally. And maybe you, if you don't yet, you have a weekly general keep in touch strategy that isn't personal, but it's general. You know, David does an email daily. Maybe you do a daily quick email or a weekly video or something. But those are two general types of keep in touch strategies: a regular, systematic, general keep in touch, and then a longer term, less frequent, personal keep in touch. Everybody got that before we get into what Deborah can do now? So one idea, I'll just get you started, Deborah, is reach out to people personally and authentically. And I've done this and it works. So Deborah, you might, let's say you were reaching out to me. Hey, Mike, something prompted me to think about you the other day. And so I thought I'd just reach out, say hi, and see how you're doing. Hope you're, you know, now with the coronavirus, there might be some nuance to how we word this, of course. But that works very, very well. And I've gotten emails like that, and I've sent many emails like that. And will not be surprised to hear probably that more often than not, people respond with, oh my golly, something reminded me of you last week too. I really got goosebumps as I said that, because that happens more often than not. So I'll just start there. How does that sound, Deborah? And then we'll see folks have more ideas.
Yeah, I like that approach. I've been using that lately, not with my former clients, but just people in my network.
Yep.
Just reaching out, hey, how you doing? Is there anything I can help you with, or just challenges that people are facing, or just encouraging them.
Yep. So it could be like you said, Deborah, something specific. You know, is there any challenges you're having, or is there anything I can help you with? And or it could be just more general. I was thinking about you, wanted to check in and see how you're doing. And then it could go from there into the next level. I don't know if there's right or wrong, just a little bit different.
Yeah, and that really helps because it just tells me, you know, this is just genuinely checking in on people, you know, putting on your empathy hat. And it's a human to human conversation, and it's as simple as that. I'm not familiar with doing campaigns, so like it was just, what are the mechanics of it?
Yep. Of the more campaign type stuff.
Yeah. So the personal outreach, that makes a lot of sense. And then just the general campaign going forward, it sounds like it's kind of like your basic outreach, which is actually something that I was feeling really behind and stuck in. And one of the reasons I joined the program, because even as a technology strategist, I'm not a marketing expert.
Yeah, right.
So I've had get your email list activity and all of that on my list forever.
Yeah.
And I just want to get that taken care of. So this morning I have a strategy for that and working with Sarah, but this was just one aspect of it I was curious about.
Yeah, I would just for you, Deborah, and perhaps you discussed this with Sarah already, and or for everybody, I might just consider, you know, because this can be overwhelming too. Like, what do I do? How often do I do it, etc. But I might just consider just deciding to do a weekly. I call it keep it. You know, I always think about a marketing train. You have the engine, right? the cars and then the caboose. So the engine is your proactive outreach that David talks about in the program. Then your cars are your kind of secondary strategies that are not proactive. There are things like your website, your business cards, etc. And then you have your caboose, and that's your keep in touch. And for those of you that do not yet do that, and if it's appropriate, we're not saying you need to go doing this right now, but I would just consider a weekly keep in touch strategy to your email list. And I would do either an email like David does, or a video. And of course, email is simpler. And I would keep it simple, and I would just teach your list one little lesson from what you speak about. Simple as that. Does not need to be long. In fact, long is not good. It should be short. If you look at David's emails, you can read them in 30 seconds. But that's a simple way to keep in touch, keep giving value to your prospects, and also keep top of mind awareness. I'll stop there because we don't want to get too deep into this. Is that helpful, Deborah? Cool. Patricia?
I was going to say, because she's been in contact with them before. Sorry about that. With the fact when it being in, and I'm working from the idea of a doctor with patients and whatnot. When I went into the room on a patient I hadn't seen like in 2 years, I'd say something about to remind them that I know who they are.
Perfect.
So,
yep.
I
Yes.
enjoyed working with you on X.
Yep.
Because it says that, hey, you were important to me.
Perfect.
And then go on with what Michael was saying.
Very good, Patricia.
Yeah,
Thank
that's exactly what I was going to say too. I always
thanks, Deb.
touch in on something that you know about them, something personal, and the work that you did together. Like, I just wanted to check up. We worked together 6 months ago. How has this been going? These are the results you were looking for. Are they still sticking around? Mm-hmm.
That's great. One of the little lines I like to use is I'll say to them, once a client, always a client. Whether we're working together actively or not, I do care about you and just wanted to see how you're doing. And people, it's just authentic and real.
I love that. So good.
Cool beans.
So, Michael, am I cutting out? Because I like
No,
everyone on my screen is
your
frozen.
audio is
Okay.
perfect. It's
Okay,
perfect.
good. If I cut out, just interrupt me. So I don't see Allison's question here, but I believe, Allison, your question was about what to charge for online. Was that you? What to charge for online services at this time?
Yeah, that was me. If there was some kind of.
Oh, your audio, Allison, is very, very low. Anything you can do different? Is it just me, you guys, or can you?
No, it's quiet.
Oh.
You guys can hear her okay?
Is it better when I undo?
Oh,
There
yes.
you go.
1,000%.
That's
Thanks,
better.
Allison.
Okay, just children, make sure your stuff is low. That yours. I have kids in the room with me, so I was on earphones. Like, turn down your sound. So yes, that was the question. Was there's kind of two things that I'm seeing, at least in my network on LinkedIn and things, and all the newsletters that I'm getting is one, everybody's giving away free consults and free this and free that. So I fear that the mindset right now is, oh, well, then we get it for free kind of thing. And I did just convert one talk that was going to be free anyway, but it really was to my target market. So I said okay to it, to they were just going to cancel it altogether because they thought, oh, well, body language, you can't do anything virtually. So I'm kind of dealing with that as well. People mindset wise, they think that they need to see me in person. But I turned it around and I said, hey, well, one of the really popular things right now is how to do body language through the computer screen. So what if we did a virtual program for them right now, and then later on when we're up and running, we can do the live program that we had planned on. So at least it seems like I, have kept that connection going. But that one was already going to be free. Obviously, the point would be to try to get some of these other things that are being canceled into paid virtual gigs. So I was just curious as to if there was thought on, or on, I guess, how to convert them, and then what do you charge for that? Or is it the same?
Okay. So, okay, a couple of things, and I'll definitely ask you guys what you all have been doing versus like as far as what to charge for the online stuff. But something I heard years ago for marketing to distinguish free versus paid content is the free content is you want to kind of like teach them what to want. So you're building desire with your free content for your paid content. And that doesn't mean you're not giving them value. But for example, with body language, there are probably a lot of questions that people have about the value of body language. Like, does it really work? Like, how is not cheesy? You know, there's a lot of things there that I just made stuff up. Sorry, Allison, if I undermine anything, but there's a lot of free content you could give them around body language if you choose to do that. That isn't the meat of what you charge them for, right? The second thing with free versus paid content is you're going to bring a lot of consulting expertise to the smaller groups, a lot of personalization that just can't happen free online en masse, right? And so again, if you're going to offer free stuff, it's more general, and then the paid stuff in your case will have a lot more nuance and personalization to it. So does that, and I'm not saying that's what everyone's doing right now in free versus paid, but I like that distinction, the teach them what to want. I always have that in the back of my head. That's kind of my philosophy with webinars and stuff like that too. You're still providing value, but you're teaching them to want what you have. Then as far as online options, just to give me some context, did you watch David's video about coronavirus, about how you can still add value?
I did, but I guess I could listen to it again. I can't remember whether he did any of the, I guess, the fee structure side.
No, I don't think he did. But my point is that just that that there are opportunities to be paid at these places that normally pay, if that makes sense. So if an association was going to pay you anyways, then still being able to offer value to their members, still being able to offer the same content, it can still be a paid gig. You don't have to go back to them and say, oh no, I'll talk for free now, just so that you get the gig. And same with, conferences and things that are canceling. A lot of them, are actually turning them into online conferences or online events. And so I would still expect that you would be paid for stuff that you were previously going to be paid for. But truthfully, I don't know the answer. And I want, if you can post this in Facebook as well, I think David will probably weigh in on it. I don't think there's an answer, so to speak. I'm just, if anyone wants to share what they've been doing or what their experiences have been. Yeah, Lindy? Lindy, then Deborah. I'm not sure if we're all frozen here. It's really annoying. Lindy, are you frozen or is this me?
No, she's not frozen, but for some reason we can't hear the audio.
Oh, okay. Maybe Deborah, you go first while Lindy's sorting out her audio.
Okay, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is something I'm working on actively because, everybody is suddenly shifting to this. So one opportunity that came up was with a corporate client. And I didn't win it, but this is what I did in my approach. They asked for a custom presentation drawing on my history working from home and do a presentation on tips and tricks for working from home for our suddenly remote workforce, and then open up a Q&A and facilitate it. So I structured it the way I would a speaking gig in person, $10,000 for the project fee, and then included in the value the preparation. We were going to do some pre-work Q&A to draw questions from their audience, and then preparing the presentation, delivering the presentation, and then offering an unlimited license for use by their employees. So they would have a recording of the presentation. And so that's how I packaged that one. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but that was for a corporate situation. And then I'm working on one right now, and I've got a call actually coming up after this. My thought is structuring it as an a la carte project, because we're working on a bigger relationship, but they have an urgent need to very swiftly shift an in-person event to an online forum, and they don't know what to use for platforms or how to structure that or anything. So for that one, I'm not actually structuring it as a speaking fee. I'm structuring it as an advisory consulting arrangement. So I'm shifting my the way I frame it.
Frame it, yeah.
I don't know if that's helpful at all, but that's how I'm approaching it so far. And like everyone else, I'm figuring out as I go.
Yeah, I love that, Deborah, just thinking outside the box, packaging things differently. And Lindy's typing in the chat as well. But Allison, how is that feeling so far for you?
Yeah, that is, I mean, I love the idea of reframing it even just in our own minds, or repackaging it, or changing the languaging just a little bit, which is great. And Lindy's comment in the chat is good. To waive my fee rather than doing things for free, because so far most of my things have just been flat out canceled or postponed. Like there hasn't been this other option, or it was things that we were in negotiations for, so now they've just flat out stopped the negotiation because they don't know what's going to happen. So anything that looked like it was coming down the pipeline, somebody the great wins from earlier in the course are now like, in limbo or on hold. So I'm sure everybody's going through that same thing. But when you were sort of planning things out, and you were like, okay, great, a $6,000 thing here and a $7,000 thing there, and now they're all, they're just all on hold. So. So great, yeah, just to have that idea of going in and even saying that, because basically the travel fee is off, so that they don't expect to get things for free. I like that idea.
Of course. Well, and in your case, it might be really good to put together a free resource about how body language can be taught online. So that could be handling some objections. Maybe you can send it to some of these people that have been kind of canceling and postponing, and like David said in his video, offering to fill some gaps in the meantime for their members and their employees and whoever. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. I think we got a bit of a theme happening here today, everybody. So
a lot has shifted just in the last 48, 72 hours.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
I think Karen is up next with a great and similar question. Let me just find.
And I think Melissa just posted a very similar question as well. So maybe we just talk a bit more general, Michael, about timing and sensitivity and all of that in this time.
Kind of what I had sent you about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I had Stephanie and I were talking a little bit before the call, and obviously the calls seem to be all, if not most, related to the coronavirus. So we thought maybe we'd just have a brainstorming session with you all on what to be doing during this time. So how does that sound? Let's not ignore the elephant in the room, and we're obviously not. All of your questions are about this. So I'm going to just start by posing it, kind of breaking it down into two areas. I was just thinking, number one is the kind of general question of what should we be doing? And by the way, those of you that posted questions, if this doesn't answer them, we'll still cover them. But the question is, let's be blunt. people aren't exactly lining up to hire speakers right now. That's not companies or associations' number one priority. I see Karen nodding like, I mean, let's call it what it is. Yep. And so let's digest or dissect and talk about what we should be doing. And then number two, and then those of us that do not have a speaking topic that's incredibly important during a time of crisis. You know, like I feel for you, Allison, right? Body language is incredibly important, but our company's needing and thinking about focusing on that right now with all they have going on. I mean, we've got to keep this conversation real. And so I don't know that I have any answers, but there's 15 or so great people in this call right now. So let's just kind of see what we got. Any thoughts to get us started, David?
One thought is getting proficient with the mechanics around using Zoom, how to use breakout rooms, how to use all the capabilities of whatever platform you use. I'm familiar with Zoom, and I know that they have a lot of educational resources available.
Okay, so David, are you, and by the way, I'll just take notes and we'll send these notes out to all of you. So for those of you that may or may not want to take your own personal notes. So David, are you speaking of you getting proficient, using this time to get proficient in these things yourself?
Yes, but I also thought your question was to the group on what others can do as well. Was that your question?
Well, yeah. So I just wanted to make sure we're understanding your point. Is
Yes.
your point that you could potentially be teaching other people how to do that?
Oh, okay. Yes, I definitely can help with that. And also talking about how to keep your audience engaged in a Zoom or an online call.
Okay, perfect. So getting proficient in teaching your people, I'm kind of summarizing it, how to improve in the virtual side of the business. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great.
And also how to keep your audience engaged.
Keep engaged. Excellent. What else what other ideas do we have about what we should be doing that we could? Yes, Matt.
So I have a stack of books. I wrote a book that I'm using, and my target audience are wealth advisors who are just getting smacked right now. But my topic is how they would build up assets under management, like how they would get more assets to invest from their business owner clients. So I'm teaching them how to speak to business owners about how they would sell their business when the time is right. So I've got a stack of books over here that I would normally be giving out to people. So I'm going to go out to and I'm going to be speaking hopefully nationally, but I'm going to go with my regional players that I already know and say, listen, and it's going to say, I'm sending an email to all of them and say, hey, look at all these books. You know, like I got all these books I'd normally be giving out, but given where we are, I'm just going to offer them as a courtesy to get them a book, something to work on while they might have some downtime, and kind of parlay that into just to get in front of them. Here's a free book. I got a bunch of them here that I can't use. If you want one, just kind of keep in front of them, see where that goes.
Excellent. And
that's crazy here.
And let me just I mean, my God, can you imagine being Matt? Your audience are wealth advisors, financial planners. Holy moly. So Matt, I want to just make sure I understood it. You're going to give your prospects your book for free. Is that it in a nutshell? Yeah, did I miss it? Yeah. Okay, great. Just to engage them, to give them value add to re-engage.
Yeah. I mean, what I want these guys is to be able, I want to teach them how to speak to the business owner clients. One, they're not talking to the business owner clients, and these guys are just like hiding under the desk right now, but they will come out from under the desk, and when they do, they're going to need to replace assets under management that they're losing in the market. And their business owner clients, if they sell a company, that helps them refill their bucket really, really fast.
Good.
So it's downtime for everybody. So I'm going to say, listen, I got these books here. Happy to send you one if you want to read it.
Good.
Normally $30. So there you go.
So I'm gonna.
And
very
just,
good, Matt. Oh,
just
sorry.
with that, make sure you have a bit of a follow-up strategy too. It's not just like send out the book and hope that they call you one day. Like you can follow up with them. Hey, did you get the book? I think chapter 4, page 107 would be like super valuable for you right now. You could even highlight sections in the book as you send them out, or put a little post-it or something. Anything to like make it not just be a book that sits on their desk, something that can be a really good just-in-time resource for them.
You're on mute, Matt.
Ultimately, the intention is it's something they hand to their clients. That's what they usually do. I meet with a wealth advisor.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I misunderstood that.
No, but that's where it is. But I
But
want to
even
use that.
still, that's a good, yeah, go ahead.
You know, it's creating a dialogue when otherwise there wouldn't be dialogue.
Go ahead, Ari.
Yeah, Matt, I would just say, I would like tweak that just a little bit. And I wouldn't say, well, I got these books, they're not doing anything anyway, so may as well send it to, no. What you want to do is, look, I've got this book, it's a $30 value. You know, I'm feeling your pain, I really am. And I'm just trying to help in any way that I can. So for a limited time, you know, I'm offering, you know, these books for free. Okay, I'm sure it'll help. And, you know, later on, you know, we can catch up, you know, once you've had, you know, a chance to get it out to your clients, et cetera, then, you know, then maybe we can catch up. But don't cheapen it by saying, well, they're not doing anything, so I may as well send them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I hear you. But it would be more like I happen to have an inventory that I'm happy to share with you at this point.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't have normally had if we were having meetings, right?
Right. Yeah, but still, you still want to make it something of value.
Okay.
All right, that you're giving away. All right. People like to get something of value for free. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're giving them that value for free. They'll go, hey, you know, and guess what? You're going to be the first guy that they call, because they're going to remember during that whole coronavirus whole issue that was going on there. This was a guy who stepped up to the plate and he says, look, I want to help you guys. All right. You know, we're all in this together. We want to get through it. And it's literally, for me, it's like when Hurricane Sandy happened. All right. And we all walked out. I remember my block, you know, we all walked out into the street, and we were in such a daze because it was such utter destruction that we'd never seen before. And we leaned on, you know, one upon the other, you know, just to get that strength. And this is what your message is going to be to your customers, that, hey, we're all in this together. You know, we're going to do this. We're going to get through this. All right. And if there's anything that I can do to help you, don't hesitate to call me. All right. And lean on me, because that's what it's all about.
Good point. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. Who else has an idea of how you can benefit? Melissa, and then Deborah, and then Rachel. Good stuff, you guys.
So I have two things. One is specifically for Allison. Allison, I've been watching a lot of press conferences, and they need you. Okay? They really do. So think about like how you can help with disaster relief right now. Like how body to help reassure people in disaster settings. That's a topic that you could pivot to right now. It's topical. And then that might be something that people need or want. I don't know, to kind of work with that need want thing. So there's a big need for what you do.
Very good. Very good, Melissa. Talk about switching the pendulum. Very good. Thank you. Go ahead.
Secondly, so I forgot I had a win the other day. I just was up, you know, too late. And I just started writing. I'm working with a lot of clients, of course. I'm a hypnotherapy practitioner. I don't know if you guys know that. So a lot of my clients experience anxiety. So I just started to write things that I've been telling my clients to give just out there on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, I could make an article out of it, or I could post this on LinkedIn. And then I realized I could turn it into an article. So what you can do is whatever advice that you're giving your clients, put that into an article, and then you can do manual outreach or personalized outreach and say, I was thinking of you, I wrote this article, and I thought maybe it would be helpful to you.
Excellent.
That's another suggestion.
I'm going to just riff on that and something you just said, Melissa. This is not to say, I'm going to preface by saying this, what I'm going to say does not mean you should stop your active outreach. And use this time yourself to do the things with your business that maybe you've been wanting to do but haven't had time. Like Melissa said, maybe this is an opportunity for you to create your product. or your webinar or something that you've been holding off? Go ahead.
I'm always a big proponent of working smarter, not harder. So I just wanted to drive that point home, that I want to really focus on that repurposing piece. So I'm taking that information, dribs and drabs of what I've been sharing with my anxiety clients, really, and putting that into a Facebook post, and then repurposing that for an article, and then repurposing that as an email. So just, I know it seems like we have all this extra time, downtime, but I personally do not have all that much extra time. My children are, one child.
That's fair. Everybody's in a bit unique situation.
Yeah. So I think it's always good to work smarter, not harder. And
Repurpose. Okay, I think Deborah was next, then Rachel, then I see Sandy raising her hand, so we'll probably stop after that and kind of see where we're at. Go ahead, Deborah.
Sure. So I was in a meeting with, I've been in several meetings with leaders across the industry that I serve, and there are topics that are coming up, and we, though we're disconnected by social distancing, we don't have to be disconnected completely. And so one of the ideas that I had, building on what David said, coming up to speed on some of the tools that are possible. So I've been using Zoom for many years, but I'm exploring new tools and how I might quickly come up to speed while also offering value to the industry. And so I'm looking into using Crowdcast to host a casual coffee conversation about response to this crisis among technology leaders who, in a meeting on Friday, wanted to discuss this, but we didn't have time with our planned agenda. And so opening that up as an opportunity not only to practice the tool, but also offer value to a small community of interest that has a shared interest, and just host a quick roundtable discussion with them. So I see that as positioning, myself as a thought leader. So it's like generating written content, but in a different way that serves multiple purposes at the same time. Along the same lines, I'm also planning an experiment with Mural, which is a tool for online visual facilitation that goes beyond Zoom. So that's one thing that I'm doing to double down on my own skills, but also continue to add value and promote what I do and how I think.
Very good. Double down on your own and add value to others in the process. Good, Deborah. Thank you. I think Rachel.
Can I just say, before we go on, no, Deborah, you used the word thought leader, and I think that you guys all have a really great opportunity right now as people. A lot of you have been doing what you're doing for 20 plus years. Like, you have an opportunity to really stand out as a thought leader. This is like the epitome of what David talks about, the trusted advisor marketing. So as you build these trusted advisor relationships with your clients, they will look to you, just as you guys are looking to us to be your advisor on your speaking business. Your clients will be looking to you to be their trusted advisor in whatever field you're in this time. So don't shy away from that. This can be the time. If you guys have wanted to be a thought leader in your space, this can be the time that you can do it tastefully, thoughtfully, and from an expert position. And Deborah, I may have interpreted this wrong, but when you're talking about these kind of events on Crowdcast, it's not even necessarily that you are the expert in the front of the room. Like, you're just like right now, like Michael and I are not the experts on how to deal with pandemics. We're just not. But by crowdsourcing, by talking to all of you about how you're dealing with it, by not isolating yourself, this is how you can become a thought leader, even if you are just there to facilitate a conversation between many of your clients, right? Maybe this is a time where you bring many of your clients together in one room because they are all in a similar target market to talk about how they want to deal with this stuff. So I just really liked that idea.
Perfect. You just nailed it. I'm so glad you said, Stephanie, like what we're doing right now. You guys can model this. Look at Look at what we're getting. So far, 10 ideas. We'll post these. You know, maybe something really good can come from this. And just like Stephanie said, we're not experts on how to grow a speaking business during a coronavirus pandemic. And you don't have to be you don't need to know how to do that micro in your market, but you can start the conversation. Perfect. Rachel, I think you're up.
Awesome segue, Stephanie, because you are saying a lot of what was going through my brain. Matt, specifically in response to you, I just started working with a wealth advisor like 6 weeks ago. And my husband and I were laughing about it, going, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Of course, we finally go, we have the plan. There's the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's like, just kidding, all those resources that we were planning on using to create wealth may now be keeping our ship afloat. Either way, grateful, great place to be in. So we are still in touch with our advisor regularly and leaning on him on where can we put some things that might be safer? How do we set ourselves up best? So on and so forth. Your clients are still going to be looking to you. Everybody's scared right now because they don't know exactly what's coming down the pike. But as we start to see where the shifts are happening, they're going to be relying on you and sending out your book with a thoughtful message to your regional distributors that you're talking with. You probably already know some of what their needs are and what they're expressing to you with their clients. So an individual note to each one with the inventory on give these out, and as you do include a message A, B, and C, you'll find that in chapters X, Y, Z. You're putting the personal touch and creating value for them, and they're going to come flocking back to you as the dust settles and everybody's looking to rebuild. Your job is needed too. Everybody's in here is, but specifically we are the people that would have the regional person that we're working with that might be giving us your book. And I know right now I would eat it up on, I want to use this time to set ourselves in a different bracket as the dust starts to settle and everything starts to change. So I think just adding a simple personal note to your content could be your game changer on making sure that your books are going out en masse and you're stronger than ever as the dust starts to settle. In addition to that, I wanted to share a resource for all of you that has been a gold mine that came from my wealth advisor. It's a book entitled The Prosperity Paradigm. A paradigm is your collection of thoughts and beliefs about your life. And the whole first part of the book discusses how so many of us are stuck in that scarcity paradigm, which if you trace it back to our parents and grandparents, came from the Great Depression. And I find it so ironic that we're seeing just little blips along the line of everybody going, are we going to have enough? What is this going to look like? Right. You can start to see where people start making decisions out of scarcity and fear that just becomes like a snowball. And what I'm finding is this particular resource has shifted how I'm talking to my family, how I'm talking to my kids, how I'm talking to my employees and our members and everybody that I'm in contact with. I want you to think about the villages that have nothing, and yet they're singing and they're grateful and they're free and they're happy. They're prosperous, not because they're millionaires, but because of the belief system that they have that allows them to find prosperity even when they have nothing. Great. That's what this book is about. And what that does is it starts to shift your operating system from a point of we can create prosperity even if we don't have a wealth of materials. But what happens is when you are looking to create prosperity for people, the materials tend to follow because that's the message that every person and company is going to need in these coming weeks. So I don't know if I went out of bounds sharing an outside resource. If I did, I'm sorry, but
no, it's okay. We just careful of time, but no, we're not out of bounds. Thank you, Rachel. And that's the prosperity paradigm. And I'm going to just, because we're careful of time here, I do want to make sure the folks who had questions in the queue get those answered. Before we do that, who had raised their hands that I had said would talk on this topic? Was it Karen and or Sandy? Sandy? Okay, Bo, I'm going to just ask you to do laser-like, please, and just keep it on the topic of ideas to grow or help our business during this unique time. Go ahead.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you're up.
Very quickly, the this has helped a lot, but yesterday I was feeling uncomfortable with reaching out about certain things, and I posted that on the Facebook group. And David had actually posted an article that talks about many, many things you can do in a time like this. So I just wanted to point it out to everybody. And it included, writing articles, not saying you shouldn't be doing everything we should be doing, but just, that's all I'll say. There's an article in the Facebook group.
Perfect. We'll make sure we grab that. Thank you. Karen, I know you had a question. How do I bring compassion and sensitivity to the pandemic atmosphere while I try to stabilize my own business? How can we help you with that?
I feel like the conversation today has been really abundant around that. I feel satisfied. I'm a little lost. I feel a little creatively constipated. I feel sensitive to what's going on out there. Like everyone else, I painted my kitchen this weekend. That's what I did to.
I cleaned my closet, Karen. Not even on the weekend, yesterday during the workday.
Yes, something tangible. So today has been really, really valuable to me. Thank you all for helping my own isolation in this process by knowing that we're all trying to scratch away and find a path.
Yeah, good. So thank you. Thank you for that.
So just to follow up just on what Sandy said and kind of what Karen and Melissa are asking, the article, Sandy, I believe that you're talking about, it's step 5 of the article is basically like what, so I don't know if that's, yes, that's the same one that Markin just posted. Step 5 is basically like, what is this going to look like when it's all over? Like, what do you want your business to be when this is all over? How can you kind of like dream now? And I can pull it up because the article said it super well, but I love the idea of just imagining how you want to be and feel. Envision your future. What does it say? Envision your future in which you made lemonade. I love that. So I want to point you guys to step 5 of that. I think was a really powerful piece of that article. It is a long article. It's really great, but I love that. How did you make lemonade if you looked back on this time?
Nice.
Melissa, was your question answered? Do you feel good about that, or do you have follow-up questions?
It's funny. I think I answered it for somebody else.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Way to go.
I helped somebody else. I'm still struggling. Sometimes it's easier for some reason to help somebody else, but I do, like, my topic is self-esteem and self-esteem as a mitigator of mental health issues for students. Well, there's no school. So do I pivot, or do I just leave that alone and just say this will be ready for you later? Or I don't know. I guess my question isn't quite answered.
I just have an idea. I've been seeing a couple of celebrities doing evening like book readings to kids. Just that idea for you, just not book reading for you, but a nightly podcast or video on self-esteem for kids, giving away your top, 5 minutes of whatever you do. That might be kind of cool. You could actually build up a following during this time.
Yeah, again, positioning yourself as a thought leader during this time so that when schools go back, you're top of mind.
You're on mute, Melissa.
I have to go because I have a client waiting. So thank you, everybody, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Great.
Bye, Melissa. Okay, Matt, can you elaborate on your question about your book, Matt, or did we already kind of touch on that?
Already got it. Good to go. Great input. Thank you, everybody.
Good, awesome. Well, I know today's call, I hope, was just in time for a lot of you. I hope that you've got some good ideas, knowing that the pool of you are helping each other is so valuable. I'm thrilled how generous you all were with your ideas. And I hope that this stays, the conversation stays going on Facebook, because if something works for you, I would love to have you share it with the rest of us. It'll be really helpful to help each other out. And I would just like, my personal words of wisdom through all of this are just do what you can to take care of yourself. I think a lot of us are dealing with anxiety and stress, and some of us are dealing with 4 kids at home or 5 kids at home, or not me, but you know, it's just you're going to need to spend a little bit of time taking care of yourself so that you can better serve everyone around you. So just take that seriously too.
Very good.
So a good rest of the day, and we will talk to you on Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.